realistically speaking, I think especially with the recent qualification for G2.iG to ESL1 Birmingham, people, you know, if you had to sort of ask the average Dota viewer to give a bit of a power rankings, I don't think LGD are very much in the limelight. People aren't really expecting as much from them as they used to, but it's still, respect still has to be shown. You know what I mean? I think these two teams
For
are
sure.
a lot more evenly matched than the average naysayer would like to admit.
And I think there's a lot of naysayers right now. I think it's very easy. No more tips. It's very easy to say like, oh, this team flopped for one tournament, therefore they are bad. And I think that's probably what the average viewer thinks.
Sure.
You know, these armchair analysts are like, oh, Shopify's lost for, you know, oh, to be fair, they're kind of dog.
Hey, they just hey, look, they just qualified.
They just qualified. They did just qualify.
You're just like them, Crash. We're just like them.
I know. But like, it's possible, even for a team that was kind of suffering for a while on Shopify, they come back and looked pretty good against Nouns in that last grand finals there.
Yeah, I think the key thing for me is just that, especially if all these qualifiers happening, there's so many opportunities to improve, right? So just one performance from one qualifier, especially if how lethal these are, it's not major tournaments with group stages anymore. You got to work for those, and if you're not able to hit the hammer on the head in these 2-3 days when it counts, when you're trying to qualify for one or two very pivotal spots, you basically miss on that opportunity. That doesn't really speak to anything about your overall competency as a team, right? It's just not a good sample size or even a good representation. But that's kind of what the age of Dota has sort of become, right? All of these teams essentially have to be on their A game if they want to even have any sort of international presence.
And that's going to be incredibly important for both of these teams because they've had limited experience. Well, okay, that's not true. Recently, they've had limited international experience, and both these teams are, you know, especially in a region like China, it's a little difficult to get international scrims. Very rare that it ever happens. So it's one of those, like, you're really hurting for international experience, and that's where, you know, you win these quals, it really starts mattering to win these quals.
Yeah, I think not just that, but also elevating your own perceived position. Whether or not you're actually at that level is why he's, oh my goodness, he's just being beat back by these Eidolons early on. Just has to run the other way and TP back. Bobaka can't get that kill. Nice little move there. He hides right behind the tree. So even when Bobaka breached past that little bridge, he couldn't get the stun out. No survive there, but I mean, in this 1v1 Shiro versus JT, I think the Enigma will be pretty happy about it. So, but yeah, I think back to the point that you were saying, I think international experience-wise, you kind of want to elevate yourself to the point where these very strong teams feel that you're worthy to be a scrim partner, right? Because it's such a sensitive thing. They're not just going to scrim anybody who's available.
True. All right, game-wise, what are we looking at here? How do you think these lanes should match up? Because I'm not too keen on this bottom lane. I think it might just be a farm fest for both of these two players, maybe until Black Hole comes up. I think Shiro and JT are probably just going to continue to trade farm. Or top lane, I think that's where most of the aggression is going to be coming out, right? Both Monet and X-Nova, as well as New and PYW, have a lot of kill potential.
This is tricky though for PYW and New, because I feel like a byproduct of running the gyro in the safe lane is those early levels of flat cannon always gonna push out the wave. So sure, JT's gonna get CS, JT's gonna get XP, that's fine and all, but you kind of need PYW to rotate through the twin gates or TP to the bot side to shake up that circumstance. And that's going to be a very obvious move because X-Nova and Monet, the second they don't see you here, they know something's up. Whether you're stacking, whether you are potentially setting up, that's going to alert G2.iG's offlane to play a bit more safe. In the same vein that the Lifestealer wants to survive, so does the Enigma, right? And his Blad's timing is a lot scarier.
Absolutely. So is that the build we think we're gonna be seeing from Enigma, right? The Vlads, maybe a Blink BKB.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it has to be. I'm not really sure what other items are available unless you decide to make him the designated cruise buyer this game. It's been such a great item.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. He hasn't really deserved that promotion yet. You know
yeah.
I mean?
No, he is just queuing up the Vlads, which fair, right? I don't think we expected any differently. I'd be more surprised if he just like rushed Blink or something.
Yeah, that would be very strange. Disruption, just to try and bail Shiro out of here, but wrapped around upon by the illusions, getting a bit body blocked by his own allies there, taking quite a bit of damage. I didn't really talk about this just yet, but Bobaka actually has that nice mana drain interaction with the... Why you Spout is dead? Oh,
No.
just narrowly Lotus start. That was close. But yeah, these Eidolons are nasty.
Yeah, they they do a lot of damage, right? 28 per click, considering there's like 6 of them. Yikes.
I'm glad. Look,
Shiro is not a hero with a lot of armor. Not
controversial
quite yet.
opinion, but I'm
Sure.
glad to see that Eidolons are back in trend. You know, I think Enigma, he had his little bit of suffering. You know, the Eidolons were a bit weird. They made it cost health. He was looking like shit for a little bit, and then now Enigma's back, and I love Enigma because I feel like Enigma is such a... It's not a cookie cutter hero, right? It's very, very difficult to execute, and seeing how these players min-max and get the most juice out of it, it's always very interesting. I'm Malefacing up. Why you smile? I mean, this LGD safe lane is just all about survival. Like, I don't know whether they can kill without PYW.
No, I really don't think they can at all. I think that's exactly what G2.iG expected going into this lane. Right, go ahead.
No, I honestly thought that they were gonna switch things around, like put the Grimstroke in this bot side, but I guess they're a bit too scared that he won't be able to deal with the Eidolons the same way Why You Smile can. Although I don't really know whether you can consider this dealing with the Eidolons when you're dying to them. Disruption under the tower, but again, these Eidolons, they can just full commit in, and first blood drawn by JT. Shiro just has to rage, try and get out of here, kill as many of these little units as possible. That's not before they put on quite a bit of damage on this lifestealer.
This lane is not going to get easier as well, right? As Bawoka gets potentially more levels into the mana drain, you might go 2-on-1. But if you got more levels into mana drain, all of a sudden Shiro, he's out of mana, he can't rage, and then you start having kill potential all of a sudden. Lifestealer no rage, very, very sad.
Yeah, I mean, not even just no rage, right? He also hasn't spent any gold on a stick and a wand, and I feel like even with the recent nerfs to the item in terms of really ramping up the cooldown, it's still so valuable, especially in a situation where you're up against mana drain. Kind of need that little pep up, but hasn't really put him up just yet. Top side, looking to sell onto Monet, but that's always going to happen. X-Nova with the Magic Missile breaks up that situation, and yeah, I mean, no surprises in terms of the CS numbers here. The biggest struggler for now is Lifestealer. Not too bad. PYW being run down now. Another Magic Missile and last touch. X-Nova will find the kill on the Grimstroke. So both side lanes for G2.iG doing very well. Just in time for the 6-minute rune, they can just make that rotation. Perhaps get the advance onto Setsu. It will be a bot rune for nothing to say. So a bit unlucky, even though the Mars manages to make it there in time.
That's the 50-50. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
True. That's the way the cookie has crumbled, and really any other thing you're trying to do it, it's trying to tip the odds in your favor. Here, JT is gonna get tipped into death here, into his own tomb by what's going on here. But Eidolon army, Shiro's dead, and just the auto attacks is more than enough. Yeah, it's again, you need to bring PYW down here, but nothing to say with a very easy rotation. And honestly, he barely even connected on any of his spells, right? He just
Yeah. Just there for moral support. I don't know, dude.
You got it, Eidolon. Setsu trying to mirror the move up here to the top side through the Twin Gates onto Monet with the Inkswell. Should be enough damage, especially if New starting to trample up onto this poor Gyro. They're trying to TP in JT though. Doesn't have the level 6, but has a Malefic level. Still pretty tanky on this Primal Beast. We'll try and walk this one off, but with the Wave of Terra armor reduction, the Eidolons just need one more touch. One more, it ain't enough. It ain't enough, and New will be able to scamper his way back to safety.
That's chainmail, baby. That is exactly why he lived there. That little bit of extra armor was perfect.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of a little bit of extra armor, JT's going to be giving that for the rest of his team that Vlad's already completed.
That is crazy timing. And he didn't even rush it fully as well, right? He went for boots and Bassy and stick and all these other tiny little things. This Enigma is starting to become a bit of a problem. Top of the net worth already at this early juncture. And now we've seen... Oh no, not the choreo with the boots. That's why you smile. Poor as shit. And Shiro's gonna die too. They know where the Shadow Demon is. And they're just gonna try and hunt him down. I think they know he doesn't have a TP. Yeah, the scan?
Yeah.
Not gonna connect, but... I'm gonna find that
look
touch
at Boca,
now.
though.
Oh, why you smile? Puts himself in the tree line. Pings out. Yeah.
I think he's still dead. Enigma's coming back. They got the tower. JT's turning around.
I mean, why you smile? He's taking them for a tour of this bot side area. He's trying to fog him, but that's a good try. Unfortunately, he still will go down. Give this kill with the JT even more gold in the Enigma's pocket.
Very nice.
Very, very happy on this offlaner.
I think it was like 1k above the Mars. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, mid lane, the setup, nothing to say. This could be a good kill. The lingering spear on the walls of the arena there. Dota2 though gets a black hole. Perfect setup from G2.iG. Last stroke of fate can't do enough damage, and Setsu will be the one to go down. Great response. G2.iG. They're not letting LGD have anything on the map right now.
That's the kind of teamwork you love to see from these teams. What a beautiful skewer, right? The communication crystal clear between G2.iG. You know exactly what they're planning there.
Yeah. It felt like such a good goal for LGD as well. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Level 1 stroke of fate is just not enough.
Yeah, it's hard to, well, I mean, like, what do? Max stroke of fate? If you're doing that, you've got more issues at that point.
That's true.
Than low damage. It just feels so bad to do that. You know, most people are even getting 3 points into Phantom's Embrace, 4 points even, before you max out the stroke.
Yeah. Not a big fan of that first spell. I mean, it's useful, you know, for clearing creep waves a little bit, and that's about it. It's not really what quite it used to be. As
yeah.
I guess same can be said for this LGD lineup. Unfortunately, they. Sorry, that was harsh. But
the low blow.
No, yeah, no, that's fair. Now, at least, even though LGD's draft has the same problems of perhaps running out of damage in the mid game, the G2.iG lineup aren't quite as ridiculously tanky as they were, right? So Gyro still a very susceptible target. The Enigma as well. The Vlad gives him nice armor, but not a lot of HP. They're hunting down for Monet. Oh, they just narrowly missed it. That's gotta stay. I mean, they're gonna be watching this replay back and be sort of kicking themselves over, hesitating a couple of seconds in mid game and smoking it.
A couple seconds, that's literally all it takes in Dota, right? I feel like people forget that a couple seconds in Dota is such a long time. I feel like generally from myself, I've been playing Dota for like 10 years now, a little bit more. My concept of time is so flawed now, where like 2 minutes seems like such a long time and an hour feels like nothing.
Yeah.
Like one game, an hour, sure. 2.5 minutes for Black Hole, that's forever. Oh
yeah,
my
that's
God.
forever. 2.5 minutes to wait for Roche Pass is supposed to spawn. I mean, that must have felt like forever for G2.iG in that previous game, right? But like, you know, they've been playing, what, Dota for close to 6-7 hours today already. It's just vibes. As long as they can get the dub, that's all they want. But Monet getting chained up here. The control is there and should be enough damage. X-Nova can't get in range for the swap. Too busy stacking and wasn't in position. Great move from LGD there. Much needed.
Much needed. Heaven forbid this game goes the way of last game where we're coming around 15, 16, 17 minutes and there's only 10 kills on the board. That's definitely got to favor G2.iG. As like we talked about, Lifestealer is not farming as fast as the Gyro. Now killing him like that does put the Gyro a little bit behind, but that's what the stacks are for.
Absolutely. And Monet, he's been sort of farming quite a bit of those, but still not doing as well on the net worth as we would have sort of hoped. I think recently, especially, I've seen Gyros go for more levels in the Rocket Barrage when they feel like they need to alleviate pressure. And he has 3 levels in that, 1 in the homing missile. Gone are the days of just, you know, straight up building stats flat cannon, and that's your item build.
Yeah.
That's too crazy.
Those were dumb days. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, Blink reveal, instant disruption though. It's not in time to save Setsu. An easy finger of death setup. G2.iG, that was so telegraphed. The second swap in as well. PYW's toast. Just easy kills all around. Again, the early nothing to say Blink Dagger just does so much work for them, and they know exactly how to play around it. This timing now for this mid-tier 1, especially the Seas of Serenity helping them out. They bring a lot more members, but they don't really have anyone to pull over. It has to be New who comes over here and tries to break things up, but fighting into a black hole and RP, man. I don't think this is one you want to take.
Yeah, it's a hard task. Especially in this kind of confined area by your tier 1 tower. Right, Black Hole and RP cover a large area.
Yeah.
So if you're clumped up even just a little bit, especially with the Blink Dagger on Magnus, you're toast.
Yeah, and even if you don't get caught by the Black Hole, the Magnus can just put you in there. So
yeah,
it's a very sort of nice little combination.
Advantage, actually.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be sick, like a swap into Black Hole. I'm excited. I've got myself
yeah.
excited for it now.
Okay, now I mean you're setting us up for something that might not even need to happen with the way that LGD are starting to trail behind. 3k gold lead already for the G2.iG side, and sure, you know, you can make the argument that the LGD cores don't farm quite as fast. This is the Monet timing, this is the JT timing, sure. But it is pretty concerning. Later in the game, maybe LGD, again, in these team fights, they might be able to stand a chance, but JT, he's already securing that with the Midas pickup post-flat.
Oh, and he is going to be going for those Guardian Greaves like you talked about, Sneeze.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a good ability. I mean, it's just
It
such a
feels
good,
so
like,
nice.
bit of armor. And that's kind of how he wants to keep scaling up. New, stepping forward here, gets the touch out of the X-Nova. I feel like he came out of nowhere there on the bottom of my screen. I didn't even know he was coming. But that's that blink
He's got a
reveal
blink
for the Primal
dagger.
Beast.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that we saw this blink dagger first pick up, but I guess when you're dealing with Venge, Enigma, Magnus, you just can't first item BKB. It's too rough.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know whether it does anything for you. It's a similar situation where LGD want to get moves happening across the map, just haven't really given the opportunity to. And I think a lot of that comes back to Setsu on this mid lane Mars. It hasn't really come to fruition just yet. Misses out on the haste rune, and again, without a power rune, it feels very awkward to try and make something happen, especially when you're still crawling your way towards the blink.
That's a great way of putting it, because looking at the net worth, that is exactly what crawling looks like. It is not looking good for Mars once again.
Yeah.
This is the anti-Mars stream.
Yeah. Mars literally, you ever see the God of War reduced to his knees and having to claw his way on the ground towards even a sip of gold? That's not a pretty sight. And what's even... Oh, well...
Alright.
Yeah,
Very cool.
that also is not a pretty sight. Very unfortunate. Nothing to say. You know, that's the kind
exactly
of... That's the kind of thing that happens in your pubs or like your games with your friends. And then your teammates just, they don't need to say anything because they already know you feel shame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a...
Maybe you ping Skewer, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a little bit of BM.
No, you know what's the best move? Like, immediately, as soon as you see Mr. Skewer, you just start TPing away. Because you're like, okay, we're done here. like, you know, if you die...
Nothing left for us.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened. Oh, you were in this area? I didn't see that. If you were, you might have landed that Skewer. That's crazy.
If you wanted attention, maybe land your abilities. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If you wanted to get something done, why even call me? Don't waste my damn time. I'm on the clock, baby. And that's kind of what it feels like LGD
I've got farm to be had.
Yeah, I have things to be doing, like, you know, walking around and...
Very important as
watching
a support
skewers,
right now,
watching skewers get landed. That's kind of my my prerogative.
It's my whole shtick.
Yeah. My name is Bobaka. Watching skewers be landed. Okay, yeah, I don't even. I'm not
Nothing
gonna
to say again. They have blue black hole. Why don't they just commit?
Nah, they're scared. They don't see anybody.
Bad,
I mean, you talking. But why don't they just commit into a shadow deep? Hello? Come on. They just they just do the thing where they disrupt you, man.
Yeah, but that's what your RP Magnus is for, right? If you initiate on the Enigma,
you can layer it.
Then you've got the follow-up. Exactly.
I mean, they don't see any LGD heroes, which is what they're very concerned about. Understandable. Now they'll rotate back down to the bot side, but they're very quickly realizing that LGD are grouped up around mid instead. Before they can get there, the tower's already down. So it's a kind of an awkward situation for G2.iG, but now Setsu showing his face. Nothing to say again. 3 in a row. Can he make it 4? That's crazy.
Bobaka's out of here. He's like, I'll see you later, dude.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, LGD, they can make some sort of movement here. That's exactly what they'll do.
Yeah, Bobaka, you know, that's not really the skewer he was looking for, but he finds it anyway. Setsu will start to get Manifest and set up now, and there we have it. 4th in a row. Let's go! He's done it. Now the swap back, a second kill. PYW is toast, and LGD, they... You gotta wonder what they were looking for there, because they already used the arena. And they still kind of stuck around. Maybe a bit of save your buddy syndrome.
Yeah, maybe. I think that might be exactly what it was. And, you know, if you keep giving G2.iG these little crumbs, their Enigma is going to start running away with this game. Gyro, like we kind of talked about, slowly finding more net worth than the Lifestealer. But it's what they can do with the net worth. Right, Lifestealer, even if they're equal, like you talked about during the draft, Lifestealer should win that engagement in a 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, not when Monet is so far ahead. I mean, it looks like a 1k gold difference, but I think these key item timings are hitting a lot harder. Monet, he's looking at that BKB next, already has the Crystallis, Aghanims, and Falcon Blade, so he's stacked it up and ready to go. Gotta imagine that once he picks up that BKB, they'll just head straight into the Roche Pit and look to try and take a successful fight there. GG though. Setsu, again, still looking at this Mars struggling. We were thinking that it was going to be an offlane Mars played by New again. It certainly is looking like it, even though Setsu's the one playing it.
Oof.
I'll
Yeah,
tell how it is, man.
maybe things go. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe things go differently for LGD if you put the Mars in the off lane, but it after a showing like game number 1, you're like, no, this is no longer yours. I'm gonna show you how it's done.
Yeah, and not
this
really.
This ain't it.
Yep, no, absolutely not. And again, credit where credit is due. Oh, Shiro, he's just gonna get black holes up here. You get the vision thanks to the lane one, and he immediately pings it out because he knows there's no way in the world you get that jump. Now, oh, nothing to say with the secondary setup onto New. They find the second, and this is gonna be easy access into the Roche pit.
Right in they go. There should be nothing stopping them, and hell, there is nothing stopping them.
Yeah, Setsu doesn't even have mana. He's busy clearing out a creep wave in mid, and that depleted all his resources, which should tell you about the state of the game. Yeah, right. I mean, these supports, it feels like they don't have anyone to play through. I mean, if I'm in PYW and YE Smart Streams, I'm feeling so frustrated because I'm like, look, I really want to get some kills. I want to run into the jungle, kill off the gyro, but these smoke moves, they just haven't landed. I think the key one onto Monet just dodged out by a couple of seconds, like you mentioned. And again, LGD, it feels like a very similar situation where 1 or 2 early game smokes and fights don't work out. They're kind of left a little bit behind, starting to trail, and they don't really catch back up. I mean, Bobcat alone down here in spot time.
This is crazy.
Bro.
He's waiting for his team to come through the gate. They're coming slowly. They know where YU Smile
Oh, he has full vision on them. Finds YU Smile, easy kill. But that's gonna allow Setsu to escape. Not PYW though. Very sad to supports. They're just trying to play around their core, but their core can't do anything, so they just have to die in these situations, which is the most painful thing as a support.
The G2.iG just bring numbers.
Yep.
Right? LGD are not ready to do that quite yet. With only 5 kills on the board, 9k down, I don't know if they're going to be ready for a hot minute.
Yeah, Setsu again being set up now. Isn't really a finger of death, and he has a haste rune, so he should be able to squirm his way out of this sticky situation. Not too bad, but that's not really stopping G2.iG from just taking such an aggressive position on the map, and they can absolutely afford to. Like you mentioned, LGD, even after they finish up this Radiance, which they just pick up on the Lifestealer, I'm not very sure whether they're ready to fight, but they might just have to pull the trigger. Looking for a potential wrap around through the Twin Gates from the Lifestealer, this could be a very interesting pincer maneuver. The tier 2 tower already going down. Oh, the immediate blink out. What a heads up play from JT, and now it seems like New, he's in a whole lot of trouble. The Blamer isn't going to do anything as they set up onto Mars again. The Lifestealer isn't even in the fight yet. They just will lose so many heroes, and now that Shiro has finally joined the fray, yeah, okay, a swap out to Monet, it's fine. You don't get a single kill, you just have to infest and run. The Bobocat's right there with the Hex, holding on to the Lifestealer. No save for you, PYW. He'll get a skewer in the backside, and it looks to be a team wipe on the back of a triple kill and a double. Nothing to say, and Monet tag team get it done. And JT hands in the air because he's got to be feeling good.
Oh, absolutely. That was a devastating fight for LGD. Literally nothing happened either, right? Like, IG just used their abilities. G2IG just hit them, and there was nothing that LGD could do. The arena was fine, but Primal doesn't get pulverized off. He just dies. Shadow Demon does nothing despite getting the abilities off. I didn't even notice a soulbind that fight. It just, all these abilities from LGD aren't amounting to anything.
I mean, that literally starts because as soon as the glyph is popped, it's so telegraphed that LGD want to fight, and they fall straight into G2.iG's trap. Quick blink out from JT, heads up play from that Enigma, gets New in such a bad spot. You can imagine the difference in that situation if he actually connected on the Inkswell Pulverize. But not to be. 15k gold lead. Still don't need to move an inch. They still have the black hole and the gyro at full strength. That's satanic now. Oh, he'll just jump in. Fine, New. Easy pick off, but gets the stun onto 3, but immediate black hole just finds the 2 cores of LGD, and they just get melted. Setsu, he's still trying to stand his ground and fight, and now Shiro's starting to do quite a bit of damage, killing off Boboka for now. The kiting is somewhat successful, but they've already lost so many members. This homing missile, is it gonna kill Setsu off the blink? Just surviving.
It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, meanwhile, Shiro literally dies off screen. GG is called LGD out.
Oh man.
G2.iG.
Holy LGD.
Yeah, I mean, they just get respectfully as possible to shout a legend. Kind of gets clapped there. Holy.
Yeah, they got rolled over by G2.iG. And maybe that's just a little bit, I don't want to say momentum, because they